Hey folks, it's Fernando doing our video for the More Survivalists. In this video, I'd like to address what's going on with Greece right now. Yesterday, we have the vote, and the Greek people voted for no to more austerity, to the latest plan offered by the European Union, and no vote winning by 60%. Very much a strong victory for the Greek government. And what I see happening from now is two possible scenarios, and I'm going to be explaining both, and I'm going to be explaining why I think that one of them is the most likely one. Either way, it's going to be a very rough next few years for everyone in Greece, no doubt. But let's take a look at the first possible scenario, which is the one that the media has been paying the most attention to, and lots of drama, lots of doom out there, which is Greece simply defaulting, simply leaving the European Union, dropping the euro, and everything going to hell, the economy collapsing over there, and Greece starting with a new currency, their drachma. And in that case, you would be seeing a Greece with its own currency, which would quickly lose value, of course. Very much this carbon copy thing of what happened in Argentina. They would have their drachma dropping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drachmas, 10 drachmas to $1. The inflation would go up very fast. You would have a black market economy over there, where people would really look forward to having euros in their hands instead of these new drachmas, which they simply do not trust, which is constantly losing value in a very harsh economic environment. In this case, you would have also imports being extremely expensive. Anything that's going to be brought from abroad with your new drachma currency would be awfully expensive. Now, on the positive side of that, you have that all of a sudden things being produced locally are going to be more financially viable. So, and this is something that we did see in Argentina as well. When everything is so expensive being brought from abroad, which really messes up imports, you do have a local market. It's very tough because it's not easy to start producing what you didn't do before, but it is a clear incentive. You really start trying to produce things locally in that case. On the other hand as well, you have an economy that is more interesting for European tourists. If there's one thing that Europeans like, is cheap holidays. They will go even to Africa to get those. All of a sudden you have Greece right there in your own backyard, and being 2-3 times cheaper than anywhere else where you're paying in euros. Definitely a good place to go for holidays if the Greek government does manage to keep the social instability, especially crime, under control, making it safe for people. You would have a great option there in terms of tourism, which Greece has always been, especially so with a much cheaper exchange rate. Now, what happens if this ends up happening? We have Greece with its own local mess. At the same time, in terms of Europe just fell apart. The European Union just lost one of its countries. It's the euro lost a country using the currency as well, and it's going to be causing a severe damage to the European Union, no doubt whatsoever. I don't think that many countries out there want to see this happening. On the other hand, you also have another factor, is that Greece just goes bankrupt. It's not repaying anything at all. This, in terms of simple crunching numbers, you go from having a poor repayment type of plan or agreement to having nothing being repaid at all. If you're being owed billions, millions, all of a sudden looking at not collecting anything at all because the country simply went bankrupt and it's not repaying you, that is not a good position for any banker to be in, or any investor, or any country that loaned to Greece. So basically what I see that happen is that the Greek government, with this no vote, they did have a victory, and they are in a stronger position. Basically what they're saying is, you know what, if we're going to hell, we're all going to be going to hell, and we're going to be dragging you along with us. The Greek people clearly feel that they will not take any more austerity. They have, it seems that they have taken enough, and they simply don't see a future worse than what they already have with the kind of austerity that they're dealing with. You know, I guess you have to be there and be in their position so as to, I mean, for some reason 60% of the people voted no. I guess that they see that the future, even if they drop out of Europe, their position would be better than continuing with the way in which they are right now. Is this the most likely scenario? No. I mean, it could go either way. Both scenarios are possible, but I think that the most likely scenario, the one that is going to be happening, is the following one. And it's the one in which the Greek government, with this no vote that they have now, they're in a position where they can go to the Troika and say, you know what, we either leave the European Union, we just collapse fully, we're okay with that, or we end up making an agreement. Again, no banker wants to have a debt that is not going to be able to collect at all. It's always better to have somewhat of repayment, even if you take a loss, even if you take a hit. But getting some money back is better than no money at all. Besides that, the catastrophic situation in which Europe would be left in with a country dropping, I don't think is going to be, you know, making lots of sense. Then you have France, which is already showing signs of, okay, let's try working things out. Then you have the International Monetary Fund saying, guys, let's keep talking, let's find a solution to this. We don't want to be losing Greece. Let's see how we make things work. Germany seems, of course, to be the one which has a more of a hard line. But also notice that the Minister of Finance of Greece already resigned in spite of the no vote winning. I see this as a token of good faith of some kind from the Greek government, as if saying, you know, this guy that particularly bothered you, that you found too confrontational, too hard to talk with, negotiate with, him we're going to be letting go, and having someone that is more approachable so as to find a solution. I think that at the end of the day, this is what works best for everyone. I think that it's, you know, if the options are Greece going bankrupt, not repaying at all, no one gets what they want. If they leave Europe, Europe definitely is in a worse position. If they loosen the belt a little bit with their demands in terms of austerity for the Greek people, maybe they're not going to be getting back as much money as they should, but it's much better than the alternative. That's the one I think is going to be going down. Not saying that the possibility of Greece leaving the European Union, dropping the euro, starting with its own drachma, is not possible. I just think that it's not as likely as, you know, everyone just, you know, finding a solution and working things out. Guys, that's going to be all for now. No doubt, still, either way, very tough times ahead for Greece, and very shaky situation for all Europe in general, and basically the world as well. Guys, take care, have a great day, see you on our next video.